So welcome back to our channel, that is AI next generation. In the previous video we already have been seen about the introduction of the OOPS, what is OOPS and different type of approach we have just seen in the previous video, that is functional approach. We have gone through the procedural approach, and also we have understand about the OOPS approach, that is the object oriented programming approach. Okay, now we are going to more depth in the object oriented programming language, because this is the OOPS, this is the condition we are going to follow in this whole series of the video that's related to the OOPS. OOPS is really more famous as compared to any kind of approach, whether you are using the procedural approach, whether you are using the functional approach, or whether you are just using another approach. But object oriented programming language, so why its benefit means you are just getting all your method, the variable and the method in the same place, means the variable and the function of that particular in the same place. Whenever, even in the previous video I have just given you example, whenever you are just defining the calculator, so in class whenever you are just creating the class calculator, so inside that all the method, all the function of the calculator you are just getting in one place. So you want that particular things, that type of approach where you are able to build the attribute and behavior. And this I am just going more depth about the what is attribute and what is behavior. In this means in that we going to say variable and function in one place, so you are just binding the variable and function in one place, they are called as a indirectly the object oriented programming approach. So whenever, now I will just say you about the what is attribute and what is behavior. So whenever you are just defining any function inside the class, they are called as a method. Don't be confused in this. Whenever you, the normal function you are just defining outside the outside the class, that is not inside the class, they are called as a function. But whenever you are just defining any function inside the class, they are called as a methods. Okay, and then after, whenever you are just creating the class, every class will have attribute and behavior. So what do you mean by attribute and behavior? So that you are just binding both attribute and behavior, and you are getting everything in one place. Okay, so why you are saying about the class? So whenever you are just defining class, suppose the class, how we are just defining the simple class we are just defining, we already have been seen this thing in the previous class also, about the subtraction, addition, how we are just going for the procedural approach and object oriented programming approach. Now we are going to see about the object oriented programming approach. And whenever you are just defining the class, inside the class you will have two things, one will be your attribute, and other will be your behavior. So what they are called, suppose I'm just giving you in the layman terms, suppose you are a person, so your name, your height, your weight, they will call as a attribute. Okay, but you are singing, you are dancing, you are reading, you are just playing games, they are called as a behavior of yours. Okay, so that's why class means everything, the attribute and behavior, I think is clear to you. So whenever you are just creating the class, okay, so you are just, you have in that particular class you have the attribute and you have the behavior, and you are just binding the all the function and variable in the one place. That is the use of the object oriented programming approach. Okay, so how, what is the first thing I will explain you about the class. Okay, so how you are just defining the class. To define a simple class, to create a simple class, what you are just doing, you are just writing simple class. Okay, you are just creating class, and then after you have to just give the, this is the keyword to define class, and then after you have to give what class name you want to define for, whether which class. I am just going for the employee class. Okay, you are just defining the employee class, and then after that what you are just doing here I am just creating an empty class. I am not defining any function inside the class, and any function inside the class you are just defining, they are called as a method. So every time from now I will just call as a method. So you are not defining any method. Okay, and another, you are not defining any attributes. An attribute means what variable you are just defining outside the simple variable, you are just defining a equal to 10, b equal to 5. So a and b, they are called variable, but that thing you are just defining inside the class, they will call as a attribute. Clear? So now I'm just creating the empty class, and I have just used the pass keyword. What do you mean by pass keyword? Means you are just creating an empty class, that's it, and you are just saying to that particular class that it is pass, means it's, you are just defining the name of the class, that's it. You are not writing anything inside their blocks. Okay, so this is the way you have to define the class. Okay, you are just defining the class, and then after you have the instance that, or the object, you can create the instance of this particular class, or you can create the object of this particular class. Okay, so what do you mean by object? Basically, whenever I can just again take this thing example in the layman terms. Suppose you are just buying an iPhone 12 company, Apple company, they have just created one new iPhone. I can just say iPhone 12. Okay, iPhone 12. Now what you are just doing, this Apple company, they have created one iPhone 12. They have the design of that iPhone 12 will you have they have just created. Now the what they have just designed their iPhone 12, that they will just distribute to n number of user, those who are users. So user they are called as a object. Okay, whenever you are just receiving the user, so even you are just receiving, I am receiving, everyone is receiving the iPhone 12. Whenever you are buying only iPhone 12, the features and everything will be same for you also, for me also, and for any other your friend also. But what function for you are buying, I am buying for the playing games, you are buying for the reading, another guy is buying for the watching movies. So your different things you are going to take from that particular iPhone 12. The already the design has been implemented by the Apple. They are called as a class. This is called as a class. Okay, and then after that then after that you are just defining another, that is the object are us, you, me, and everyone. We all are using iPhone 12. Okay, but everything we have different approach. You are using for the sorry, you are using for the playing game, I am using for the reading books, and another guy using for the particular watching movie. Okay, so they are called an object. So I'm sorry for that, they are called as an object. Okay, so here you can just write here, or what will be the object, you and me, everything what they are just buying, they are called an object. And this particular iPhone 12, the design, they are called as a templates. Okay, this is called as a template. Okay, and then after that you are just defining the particular iPhone. Then after the n number of user, they are just taking the iPhone Apple company, and they are called as a basically n number user. They are just, you are just making as a object or instance of the class. Clear? I don't think so you have any doubt in this. I'm sorry for that. uh, you have just created the class, and then after you have just now after that how to create an instance of the class, or how to make the object of the class. Clear? Now how to define the object. Here you can just take suppose my name is xyz my, and I'm just buying this particular iPhone, I can just say. Or you can give n number of object. For one class you can just create n number of object. That's why I have said, whenever iPhone 12 design, that is a class, and n number of user, I, you, and your friend, they are called as an object. Okay, so whenever you are just creating the employee class, it can be used by n number of object or the instance of the class. xyz, they are called an object or the instance of the class. And how to create the object of any class, you have to just call this particular class, and you have to call this one. Okay, and even what you can just say, you can even define pqr. You can just define pqr equal to employee. Here you can also give this one employee, and then after also you employee, and after that again you are creating the this class. Okay. Okay, so now how you can just see, you are just writing now you are just printing xyz. Now you will see, so xyz, whenever you are just printing, it is stored in this particular where this particular, and again you are just printing this, that is a pqr. Okay. Wow. So here what you are just now you can just see, whenever you are just creating the object of these two class, the class is the same but object name are the different. Okay, this object is the object 1 or the instance ones, and this particular pqr is a object 2 or instance 2. Okay, so now you can just see they are located in different place. This is the object 1 is located in this address, and the object 2 is located in the this address. Okay, means the main thing what I have to say, you whenever you are just creating the class, you can create n number of object or n number of instance. Don't be confused, object and instance, they are both are the same. Clear? So you are just defining particular n number of object. Whenever you're just creating any class, you can define n number of object. You can just write even pqr xyz abc equal to employee. Okay, so you can just create n number of object for that. I don't think so you have doubt in this particular. Again, you will just print this one, and you will just find the address of this particular ABC will be the different. Okay, so this was the main thing. I think you are clear with the how to create the class, the how to what's the keyword to create the class, and what do you mean by class, and what do you mean by object, and how you are just creating the object of the class. So this was the main thing I have to just explain you about the what do you mean by class, and what do you mean object, and what are the attribute and behavior you are defining inside the class. We are going to see in the next video. where we are going to use the about the self, and also we are going to see the constructor, how we are just using the constructor in this particular Python. Okay, so here that's it for this particular video. I hope you understand the about the Python object and the class. So how to define any class, I have just taken again example of the computer. Again, you can just go and you can read this blog, and also how to create an object of any class. Then in the next class, in the next video, we are going to see self and constructor. Then after we are going to see how you are just defining any variable, how you are defining any method, any variable or any attribute inside the class. We are going to see in the next class. So that's all for this video. Thank you.